Hi, it's Jenny from the Missouri Star Quilt Company. Christmas is fast approaching and we have an awesome project for you today. Take a look at this cute runner. Isn't this great? Look how the trunks come, the trees work from either side. It's just so cute. And it's very, very quick. You're really going to enjoy making this. For this project, you're going to need a layer cake. Of course, out of this layer cake, you'll be able to make about 5 or 6 of these, depending upon how long you want them. You really can get a lot out of one layer cake. And then you're going to need the large wedge ruler right here. And you're also going to need your rotary cutter. You'll also need about 1/8 of a yard or 1/4 of a yard of muslin for your background. It may be closer to 1/8, but it's, it just depends how you cut it. So let me show you how we do this. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to cut your trees. The trees are cut using this wedge ruler, and the wedge is really cool because usually a wedge floats in the middle of your fabric and you have a lot of waste. But our wedge sits along the edge, and out of this you're going to get 2 cuts. You'll get 2 wedges out of each square. So really you can do this out of, if you have stash, and you have a Christmas fabric that you want to use that's at least 10 inches wide, it'll work perfectly. So let's just cut out a tree here so you can see the shape we're looking at. There it is, right here. And then let me cut one more because you can get 2 out of each layer cake, which is just so cool. Now we made this using the Fa La La layer cake by the French General. But you can also, this is going to be darling. Any Christmas fabric you have that you want to use, this is going to be so cute. All right, so here we are. We've got our 2 little wedges. And you're going to want to save this piece of fabric over here because this is going to be your tree trunks. So let's just move this over here and I'll show you how we do this. Now I've got a little pile of wedges cut here. And it's really fun to put these together because you put them, you just stagger them up and down. You're going to put one right side up and one upside down. There we go. I got one of those. So you see how they go. And you're going to, you're going to want to put this one this way. And the cool thing is when you go to put these together, they really, really just line up really great. You just lay your edges together like that. And then we're going to sew 1/4 of an inch right down here and just sew them together. So let's go to the sewing machine and do that. All right, here we are. Okay. All right, now what you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to set your seam. I'm just going to clear off this area. You know how messy I am. So we're going to set this seam like this, and then we're going to roll this back. And these are your first 2 together like this. I have a string of them here sewn together already. So let's just go ahead and add a couple more to this one. Okay, so let's take this piece that we've got here that we've stitched together our 2 trees and attach it to our long runner to make it our finished length. All right, let's come over here. Here we go. We're going to set that down on here. Again, we're just 1/4 of an inch. We get it started and we check to make sure that we're all lined up nice and even. Over a little bit. There we go. Then we're going to press it open over here. There we are. Now see, if you have one right here that comes out a little bit more on the bottom, it's real easy just to trim that off real quick. You just take that little piece and we're just going to slice that right there, even it up because we want a nice straight row of trees. And then we want our table runner to be, we don't want an angle on the end, we want it straight. So what we're going to do, this is really cool because this wedge ruler is set up, it has a center stitch line, and we're going to put that stitch line right along the the center line right along the stitch line and cut it along the edge of the wedge, and that will give us a straight edge for our tree. So see how that works? We just put the little stitch line right along the edge, right along our sewing line, and then the edge of the wedge makes the straight line. So you end up with a straight line on your the end of your runner so that it works out all straight and nice. It just works out perfectly. So the next thing we want to do now is we're going to add the borders. The borders are made up of a 6.5 inch piece of background fabric and your 1.5 inch strip tree trunk. So to get those tree trunks, remember we had that little piece left over from the end of our from when we cut our 2 wedges, we had that little piece left over. And this is awesome because you can get several trunks out of one little piece. We're going to go ahead and trim this one to 3.5. That's the width of our border. By 1.5. 3.5 by 1.5 is the size of our trunk, just like that. And makes a perfect little trunk size. And then what we're going to do is we're going to attach that to a 3.5 by 6.5 inch piece of background. So let's go ahead and sew that over here. Again, everything is 1/4 inch. We go right through there. Oh, there's my cutter. Then we're gonna press this, set your seam, roll it back. And then we're going to go ahead and attach this. I have a little bit of a strip going. You'll want to do this for both sides. So let's go ahead and attach this. Really, this is so quick and easy. You could easily do it in an afternoon. And oftentimes we find ourselves at the holidays at the very last minute needing a quick gift for someone. And this table runners are small enough that you can quilt them in your machine, you know, so they go together really quickly. And this is just one of those projects. So let's see how this lines up. You want to make sure that your tree trunks are centered to your trees, just like this. And right here, this very end little piece, because it's a half a piece, you're going to put a half of this block. So you're going to cut a piece from your background that is 3.25. So here's that piece right here. This is a half of your muslin piece, which is 6.5. So this is 3.25. And then we're going to sew that onto the end. And you'll see how that lines right up with the end of our table runner. There we go. Let's go ahead and set this. And sometimes I get so excited by the end of these runners that I get running to the end of my project and I don't get it done. So there we go. So what we're going to do now, we have this, and you know, you'll just keep adding these until it's the length of your runner. You'll also add one on the other side, and you're just going to sew them right sides together like this. And what I would do is I would put a pin. You can find the center of your tree if you just fold it over, you know, match up your fold lines and make a little finger crease like this. And then that will show you the center of your tree. And to get this to line up perfectly, I would go ahead and put my tree trunk right on there, put a little pin in there, and make sure it really is in the center of your tree. And then attach this on and sew this on. So then what you're getting is this runner here. See where these are lined up in the centers like this, and they're just perfectly lined up because you put that pin in there and you've added a border on either side, and that's the whole table runner. So we hope you've enjoyed this tutorial from the Missouri Star Quilt Company.